welcome to the Varside Pubcast. We're in the Varside Arms having a few drinks, virtual drinks, and a bite to eat. And joining us tonight is Jamie. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Obviously missed the pod last night due to the internet crisis in this third world nation they call the United Kingdom. But
That's right.
yeah, here tonight. I don't remember Sunday's game anymore, but yeah, let's wing it. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Sunday. When was Sunday? Yeah, I can't even remember when Sunday was. Yeah. Yeah. So we're also joined by Lee. How are you, mate? You all good?
Yeah, all good. Yeah, talking about not remembering Sunday, I met Rich Lee on Sunday, and I don't think he'll be remembering much more after that.
Yeah, I saw that on Twitter. Was he a bit plastered then? Was he?
Well, yeah. Let's just say that he's probably about 3/4 full with alcohol. From foot to head.
Was that all in Redemption that happened, or
no? I think it was out the day before. But yeah.
Oh, okay.
Those details are between him and I, so I won't share anymore.
No, probably not good.
I think we can probably guess what the details are anyway, because he always grabs a couple of cans on the way to the station in the morning, doesn't he? At 9 o'clock. So he's always first there.
He was telling me it was
unlock.
A food thing that he was going to, but he said he didn't eat anything apart from one olive, and the rest was just booze.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh right, okay. Yeah.
That's rich for you.
It's obviously a posh place if it had olives. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So we had a game on Thursday against NS Mura, and I don't know whether you guys saw it at all. I was going to go, didn't go in the end, even though I am a proper fan, obviously. But I did watch it on TV. Did you guys see it on TV?
Did indeed, yeah. And it was a strange performance, wasn't it? One where Nuno just appeared to completely panic as soon as their player scored that semi-worldie, and ended up bringing on Mora, Kane, and Sonny, which from my perspective, I think given the opposition and the fact that they're obviously pub league farmers, was it an overreaction from Nuno? Or, we've discussed this on the chat, haven't we? Was it embarrassing that we had to bring those three on? I think
it was. Yeah,
I think yes.
I thought it was embarrassing. I felt we started the game well, and then we just kind of faded. And Mura have got to be one of the worst teams we've ever played, and we let them into it. And I just thought, what the hell's going on? So,
and they still scored.
Yeah, and they scored. Yeah, which was a worldie, wasn't it? So, but I also felt that I felt Nuno did panic a bit, because surely we were going to beat them anyway. You could have got another goal. It wasn't that difficult. And to bring Kane and Sonny on, I just thought, great that Kane got a hat trick, but it was unnecessary, wasn't it? Really? And
I mean, you've got the school of thought there from people that are saying, well, those three players only came on because they were getting match time to get fit, which in my view is a load of old bollocks. I reckon Nuno had a good old stern talking to from Paratici, and he absolutely shit himself when they scored. You could just see the panic in his face, and we should have enough. We should have enough quality to put a team like that to bed.
Yeah,
easily.
No, totally easily. Right. Do you agree, Lee?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I did watch the match, and we started like a house on fire, didn't we? We really started well with the Deli Pen and then the Celso. Really, smashed a shot in. But then, I mean, it was a class goal. I mean, can't get away from that. I mean, he'll probably never score a goal like that again. The number 11 for NS Mura, but yeah, I think he did shit the bed a little bit at that point. And to be fair, you possibly can understand why, because I think, let's not beat around the bush. He knows that he's only a couple of games away from being very much on the edge of his managerial career at Spurs. And he's probably had someone had a word in his ear, like Jamie was saying about, his position is on a bit of a shaky nail. That said, I think that result overall, though, was good for the confidence. So it maybe, I don't know whether it was embarrassing, bringing those on to finish the game off. You could look at it both ways. They are a bunch of candlestick makers and bakers, but ultimately, that was a good result for our confidence in the end, because I think that carried through into the next game.
Yeah, I think you might be right there. What I felt sorry for were players like Scarlett, who wasn't really having a great game, but then until you play them longer, they're never going to know what these games are like and how they need to progress in those type of games. So to take him off probably didn't do anything for his confidence at all. And,
no, I mean, personally, I would have played him alongside Kane. I would have kept him on and brought Kane on if that's what he wanted to do. Then and maybe not only, even if he didn't score, it would have kept his confidence up. So, but Kane might well have teed one up for him.
Yeah,
as Son might have as well.
No, exactly. What did you guys think of Dele's game?
Not a lot, to be honest with you. No. He's faded rapidly, hasn't he, over the last sort of 2 to 3 years, and he tries too much. He tries to do too much with the ball, and he's trying to flick balls through the middle of players, and there's just, I can't put my finger. There's something not right with Dele, and I don't know what the answer is. Personally, I'd move him on, but I think Levy wants the club want Dele in the team to obviously try and regain a bit of form and get a transfer fee for him ultimately. But at the end of the day, we only paid £5 million for him. He has more than repaid the fee that we paid for him. So but I can see Dele going off and moving somewhere like Leicester and absolutely flourishing. So
he could do,
just to change the scenery potentially. But
I think so. Yeah, I've been saying this for about a year now. I just think he needs a move. It happens, doesn't it? You just need to actually regenerate your career.
I find it a bit sad, really, to be honest, because I think he really does want to do well. And, the comments that he had, through the week where he was saying we had a really, I had a number of sleepless nights myself thinking about this game and what we had to do. This was sort of post the Arsenal game. He cares. He does care, and I think he would love to get back up there. But for some reason, I don't know why it's just not happening. I mean, last season, there was something similar. He started the season very well and fell away. And he's done likewise this season. Got himself really, really shredded in terms of, his physique. He looks great. Yeah. Started very well in this new position, but just really hasn't worked out. And the problem is, I think, is how it impacts the rest of the team. So individually, I'm sure, he may well do well for another team. But at the moment, for our team, he kind of seems to slow play down a bit.
Yeah,
he does. Yeah,
he does. And is it potentially, is it not more of a function of the fact that, he doesn't have someone like Eriksen laying balls off to him, and he needs to play in a more advanced position. I mean, remember the goal that he scored at Wembley where Eriksen whipped it in, and Dele was there sort of last minute with his head on the ball, I think.
You're absolutely right.
Are we just not playing to his strengths? But he appears to be trying to play in that sort of playmaker sort of role, but is failing miserably. I don't want to.
I mean, he is a number 10, isn't he? Really, but maybe. I mean, but he at this current stage, I don't think he's getting in number 10 ahead of Lascelles. So, or and I think really, if he's being recast as this box to box midfielder, he's got himself fit looking for it, but it's just not his role. And I think it's a bit of a square peg in a round hole. And we had, like we commented in earlier pod, that we thought he was growing into that, but maybe not quick enough.
I think part of the problem with Dele is that although he's seen as a creative, skillful player, I don't think he does have a lot of natural skill. I think he's very right-footed, hardly ever uses his left foot, and you can see when he gets the ball in deep midfield, he sometimes struggles to get the ball from under his feet and out. And of course you can't do that there. If you look at players like Skip, he's always very mobile and can go either way and release the ball.
He's definitely not one of those.
Doesn't do that.
definitely not one of those players that sort of sees the game ahead. He reads it one or two passes ahead. He seems a very instinctive player.
He is very instinctive. Yeah, I totally agree with that.
He can, so sometimes that can look brilliant because it instinctively he might do a shot or he might make a pass that's absolutely fantastic, and then no one can read, and it just completely outfoxes the opposition. But quite often, that instinctiveness is just not good enough with a very organized team.
Yeah.
And he doesn't see the game just that much ahead enough. He doesn't see the bigger picture of the game. That I think is probably what's causing him to not really flourish so much at the moment.
But Leo, I agree with what you say about him sort of falling down the pecking order behind Lo Celso, because when the likes of Kane, Son, Moura came on Thursday, he was suddenly, I tweeted about Lo Celso on ice, Bambi on ice, because every time the ball went near him, he ended up on his arse. But as soon as Kane, Son, Moura came on, he was playing these balls, that were just, splitting their defence in half. All of a sudden in the last 20 minutes of the game. So I think that gave us a good insight into, what Lo Celso can actually do if he's played in the right position with the right players around him.
Yeah.
He was seeing passes and, like you say, Lee, about, being able to read the game. And, he was Lo Celso was placing the ball in places where, not many people would think of putting it. And
no, I know they
incredibly well.
They're not. I mean, they're a terrible team. They're like about 380th in the FIFA in the UEFA rankings, aren't they, or something?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They're really, really poor team. But having said that, the game showed us that number 10 is probably Lo Celso's best position, and I've been a bit of a critic for him because I just not quite sure what he is. But that to me said actually that's got to be his position. But he's still at the moment he's not doing quite enough, and clearly not quite enough because he didn't really feature as that in the Villa game. He had to come on for the last 10 minutes, and I think if we're going to keep hold of someone like that, he really needs to put a case for being in the team consistently and for most of the game, not a bit part player.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Lo Celso, because we play this, I know on Sunday we were playing a 4-2-3-1 effectively. It was still a bit of a 4-3-3 as well. So where does Lo Celso play? Does he play deep in midfield, or does he play where Moura is on the right and then cut in and do his creativity from there? Because he's quite good at that. Like, he does that a bit for Argentina as well. So
I think this is the issue that we've got. Our midfield, we could have easily done with getting at least one player, two players into midfield there. We've got the two extremes. We've either got defensive midfielders or we've got attacking midfielders and no one in between, which is a real issue. And I think that has showed in the last 2 to 3 games. We'll probably we're going to come on to Villa in a moment, but I think that there's a real fundamental flaw with our team at the moment, and it needs addressing with a centre midfielder that does the whole box to box sort of thing and links defence and the attack, because there's a mass, even on Sunday there was a massive gaping hole. There was a gaping hole there when we played Arsenal, but you could just see that position where the likes of Luka Modric, where you'd see them just ghosting in and dropping into a position between the defence and the midfield. Linking play, we're really lacking in that respect.
Well, I've mentioned that a few times. I think that's the one area I really think that we really must feel, because it will take the pressure off the defence and then link up the attack better as well. So I don't know who the answer to that is. I mean, I know people like Frank Kessie have been mentioned, but we I don't think you'll ever see Dele and Lo Celso and Ndombele play, or Højbjerg, Dele and Ndombele play. That just doesn't work as a combination.
It doesn't. I think you always have to have Skip in there, or someone like Skip, because of exactly what he does. I still think that Ndombele is a player that can play deeper rather than further forward. And when he does it well, he's brilliant, isn't he?
And he's still young, right? He's what?
Yeah, he's still very young. Yeah. He's
So
still
he's still got a lot to learn.
Yeah.
He's not really reached his peak yet, and I think you can see. I mean, some. In fact, sort of jump.